Hello everyone and welcome back to another Canadian Politics Explained video. And in today's video we're going to be going over the current trends in Canadian vaccines and how the rollout is going throughout the world and more specifically in Canada. So right now Canada has increased their pace of vaccination significantly since I made the last one of these videos. As you can see now, they have the fastest rate in the G7 countries, which I have here. As you can see, they are increasing at a very fast rate right now. However, most of these are first doses still. As I explained last video, Canada is only giving first doses right now, and all provinces are giving second doses about 4 months after the first dose is given, meaning that basically all of their doses so far are first doses. They do have about 3 to 4% of their its population fully vaccinated. However, this will start going up pretty very fast as we near the date where a lot of these people do start requiring their second doses. So, as you can see, they have been able to overtake the states or the United States in how many people have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. However, the United States does have more people fully vaccinated by a pretty significant margin, and it's the same with the UK. But this is still a very good thing for Canada. As you can see, they have been able to turn it around actually from quite a slow rollout back in February. As you can see, they were lagging behind a lot of countries, even behind most of the EU, which had a particularly slow rollout. And Canada had an even slower rollout than that at the beginning. But thanks to Pfizer and Moderna delivering more doses and the confirmation of the AstraZeneca vaccine in Canada and its continued use, Canada has been able to increase the pace of their vaccination program by a significant margin. Since February and January, the beginning of the rollout, when other countries were able to get a head start on them, and they have been able to catch up and outpace them since then. Now, if I scroll down here all the way, this is the daily numbers of vaccine doses administered per 100 people, as you can see. So if I hover over Canada here, you can see that Canada has had, once again, a very significant increase in their daily doses administered, obviously per 100 people in this graph. As right now, they have about just under one vaccine dose per 100 people being administered per day, as other countries have actually slowed down a little bit. The UK slowed down massively in mid-March, and then they did pick up the pace again. And now, as they kind of enter a new phase of the pandemic, where they are able to release a lot of the restrictions that are currently in place because so many people in the UK are already vaccinated, leading to very few deaths. It's the same deal in the US, but the US is a little bit different because in the US the main reason that doses per day are falling is vaccine hesitancy, because data shows that about 30% of Americans are hesitant to get the vaccine, and already about 65% or 60 to 70% of Americans are at least partially vaccinated. So this leads, or this has led to the US running out of people to vaccinate, because most people who want a vaccine have already got a vaccine. So right now they are trying to enter, once again, a new phase of their rollout, where they try to convince people that getting the vaccine is worth it. And the EU announcement that they will allow travel into the EU for vaccinated travelers, this will definitely help increase the pace of rollout in the US, as a lot of people do want to go to other countries for the summer, for obvious reasons. Now, the EU, I'm going to group these together as they have very similar numbers. They have their doses per day have kind of hit a ceiling. However, the rollout is still going much faster than it was at the beginning. As you can see, we'll use France as an example. Throughout January to March, really, beginning of April, they had a very sluggish rollout, but now they have been able to speed up significantly. However, now they are flattening it out as more vaccination sites open. However, in these countries, the growth of the number of these sites is starting to stall, as it switches more to on-demand vaccinations, such as in the US, where a lot of vaccines are being given out now just through walk-in clinics and pharmacies, as this is way more convenient for a lot of people, and as mass vaccination sites close down, as the goal shifts to getting the vaccine to as many people as possible, no matter if they live close to a mass vaccination site or not. So, if I go down here and look at this map, you can see that a lot of the Western countries have a lot of vaccine doses administered. Germany has about 55%, Canada 57%, the United States 86.05%. This is doses administered per 100 people. So this is why the US is 86. That doesn't mean they have vaccinated 86% of the population. That just means they've administered 86 doses per 100 people, which means, which doesn't necessarily mean that all those people are fully vaccinated. In Canada, most of these doses, as I said before, are first doses only, but as the US has kept the strategy of vaccinating people fully within 3 to 4 weeks of the original dose, so this is why they have such a high number of doses, despite having a lower number of first doses than Canada or the some countries in the EU. The UK also has a very high percentage of doses, and this has helped them enter a new phase of the pandemic, like I said before. And other countries, there are some countries that have had successful vaccine rollouts, such as Argentina and Chile. Not so much Argentina, actually, but Chile, also Mongolia, and a few countries in the Middle East. If I can find the United Arab Emirates here. Yep, United Arab Emirates does have, I believe, the fastest rollout in the world. However, the figures are kind of spotty, and we don't. Personally, I don't really know as much about the rollout here as I do in other countries, such as the EU and the US. But as you can see, vaccine inequality is a very big issue still. As you can see, a lot of these countries on the continent of Africa have had very, very slow rollouts, and many barely even have a vaccine rollout, as the COVAX facility has not lived up to expectations. As you can see, countries like the Democratic Republic of the Congo have only administered a few doses to their population, and these are the people who arguably need it most, because they have less developed healthcare. So if they get very sick with COVID-19, they have less chance of being treated well, because the facilities in many of these countries are poor compared to other Western countries, which have higher income per capita, so they can pay for hospitals and advanced medical treatment. Now, obviously, in Australia and New Zealand, the vaccine rollout is not as much of a priority right now because their cases are already very low, and they have very strict travel bans on who can enter. So their cases will most likely stay low as long as they keep these restrictions in place. So let's move on to this coronavirus database, which shows some very good news in Canada. As you can see, the third wave is very much subsiding since I made my last video. It peaked at around 8,500 cases per day nationally, just over that. But now it's down to below 4,000 cases nationally on average for the past 7 days. Especially Alberta. Alberta, since they introduced their new lockdown, have been able to decrease their cases massively. And just today they announced a new reopening strategy where they hope to be open by the beginning of July if everything goes to plan. So, all good news on this front, but however, deaths are still very high. But just considering case counts, it's significantly better than it was a month ago in the peak of the third wave, especially in Ontario. Alberta did have a later third wave, but once again, this is subsiding, or it has been subsiding recently. Nova Scotia had a massive spike. This is also on the way down, as there were lockdown measures put into place to stop this massive spike. And now this is going down again as vaccinations do increase. And across the board, all provinces are going down. Quebec, this is actually a similar curve to the US, because they had a little spike around this time period, but it wasn't as high as the second wave, or wasn't nearly as high as the second wave in the US. And now cases in Quebec are on a steady decline. Same with Manitoba, although Manitoba is in a later stage, or I guess an earlier stage of their third wave. as they are peaking just now and already or just now showing signs of their third wave subsiding, because their third wave was continually going up, and their case counts were climbing throughout the month of May, but now it seems to have peaked, and hopefully it will go down in the near future. Saskatchewan, similar thing here. Their cases never really subsided as much as other provinces did, but now they are decreasing again. We'll have to wait and see how permanent this is if they do go back up again, because Saskatchewan does not have nearly as many measures as other provinces do. BC here too, a similar pattern to Ontario, with a pretty steady decline ever since the peak of the third wave in mid-April. Yeah, so that's basically all the case counts in Canada. I could go over a few of these smaller provinces, but it's very similar trends, and a lot of the data, especially in the territories, is spotty, and it's hard to spot trends out of them because there's so few case numbers. Now, if I go over here, I'll just quickly talk about the regional distribution of vaccines. As you can see, if I go down here, you can see that the territories, except for none of it actually, but Yukon and the Northwest Territories have the highest vaccination rates per capita, with 75% of their percentage, or 75% of their population who are 12 and over vaccinated with at least one dose. And they actually have administered a lot of second doses, which is very different compared to other provinces. For example, Quebec has 4.7 million first doses, but only 350,000 second doses. And they have been able to receive around 6 million doses. But this is fairly average usage, as the average throughout the country is 86.4. Now, Alberta has administered 95% of the doses they have received from the federal government. Note that this data is delayed and only gets released a few times a week, so this can be inaccurate, but Alberta definitely has used most of the doses that they have received from the government of Canada, or the federal government of Canada. Now, I'll just go down. As you can see, a lot of these provinces have similar similar vaccine numbers. As from Quebec to Manitoba, there's only about a 7 percentage point difference, and then it just kind of drop off at PEI. But every single province and territory has over 50% of their 12 and over population inoculated with at least one dose. However, the rate of this is most likely going to slow down as second doses become due, and as I said, this will use up supply, and will definitely slow down the rate of first doses administered as the supply starts to be used up for second doses. So that's all I have for you in today's video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later.